We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Why is crypto down? We're going to talk about price suppression, which, sounded like a crazy theory for me, but is now all over the news. Price suppression meaning big players, Michael Saylor, BlackRock have to buy. So literally BlackRock can sit on the market, right? Sit on the market, pressure it, using altcoins possibly. It's actually been around for a while. The other thing is, will the United States do the strategic Bitcoin reserve, right? Is the credibility of the upcoming administration in question? A lot of people wanted to sort of sell the fact on all this positive government-connected crypto news. Were they justified in doing so? Is the orange man going to walk away from crypto? Or does the orange man have no choice at this point but to embrace it massively? This could be something flying under the radar. And of course, we're going to be looking at altcoin TA. A lot of altcoins are gliding into a zone where they're cheap. This sets up a 2025 scenario where it's just like 2024. You get these big spikes, you have to take advantage of it, and then you get these retracements. Everybody in crypto is looking for a repeat of 2021 up only. They're not going to get that. They didn't get it this year, and they're not going to get it next year. That is the 2025 preview in a nutshell. Okay. Let's head over here to see who's here. Arendam is here. Good morning. Right. Thomas, Lee, Amar. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Stefan, Uni, Bank 911. Welcome. Mr. Linksys, welcome. Good morning. SGSG, VA Buds, back to back. I think those were the two original guys. Diane, Diogo, Hornet, Jay, welcome. Yav, Old Smoky, Amar, Double X Breakfast Troll, or Double X Breakfast Ol. Mr. Relentless, Horace, Michael, Shelly, Lee, Crypto Scam is here, Mings, Cat Entertainment, Peter. Part of the charm of the show is watching me or listening to me butcher people's names. Naturally, I'm sorry about that. If that's what happens. Danya is here. Welcome. Okay, news. Now, there's not a lot of news, but the news that there is very juicy. So Janet Yellen says U.S. will hit the debt ceiling in mid-January, forcing the Treasury to go to emergency measures. So for anybody who doesn't know, Congress just on the regular has to set the amount of debt that the United States can accumulate. They just keep raising it and raising it and raising it. This used to be something they would use to balance the budget. Now it's just simply kind of a joke, right? That Congress has to do this. It's almost embarrassing. So what does this tell us? Well, the orange man is going to walk into a bit of a mess on debt, right, at both the sovereign and the private sector level. Total U.S. credit card defaults are back where they were in 2010. The Fed has attempted to lower rates, and the market's response was to sell government bonds, resulting in a massive increase in long-term interest rates. So, the Fed's lost credibility. The Treasury's lost credibility. Congress never had credibility. And like I said, they're walking in to kind of a mess that really, really all signals point towards crypto, towards the need to embrace crypto at multiple levels, right? In other words, the debt problem is could be catastrophic if they don't address it. I would prefer to address that by thinking about how can you create abundance in your life, right? That's at the personal level. And I also think this idea, which is crazy, of crypto QE. In other words, they have to jumpstart the ecosystem. So whether they call it a Bitcoin strategic reserve or, I mean, they won't call it crypto QE, but they eventually will, right? Because they need to goose the ecosystem because from both an economic and a political point of view, I don't think they have a choice because the honeymoon is definitely over on sort of the election based on news that's come out about, how the U.S. labor market works and comments that were made about Elon, right? So the orange man's got himself a little bit of a pickle. We'll go over that. We'll also go over what that probably is going to mean for crypto, both today and after the inauguration. Okay, the Philly Fed is flagging like 600,000 fake jobs on top of the 818,000 Bureau of Labor Statistics, okay, revision. So there are multiple problems. They were reporting jobs that weren't there. And we've discussed this on the show, but it's like the gravity of it is coming to light about how there's essentially no full-time jobs created. So the jobs reported were not true. So the numbers were inaccurate. The jobs that are getting created are part-time. A lot of the jobs that are created are going to people that, just got here from overseas. That is what it is. But there is the idea of crypto and your personal sovereignty, right? In other words, do governments have your best interest at heart? The answer is no, not in any way. Okay, so what do you think? Can it get any worse than the current Speaker of the House? So I'm sensing a little bit of chaos going on, in a little bit of chaos. Now let's dive a little bit into the chaos. So recently there was this idea about, a certain type of H-1B visa being used by tech companies to, I don't know, fill labor shortages, and replace Americans in a lot of ways, right? So tech companies are doing it, but, they've published a lot of ridiculous examples. The funniest one I saw was this program being used to hire tennis, golf, and pickleball instructors. All right. So corporations or any business is going to take advantage of whatever's cheaper. That's life in the free market. However, okay, the scale that they're doing this is being exposed, ironically, on Twitter. Okay. Talking to a whistleblower, right? Big companies, in order to fulfill like certain employment, let's call them ideals about who they hire and who they don't hire, they're using consulting firms. They're potentially excluding certain types of people. All right. This is getting out there via like Twitter sites like US Tech Workers, and some of these other sites are actually a lot bigger. Okay. Now, there's dudes like Lee Smith who are saying, you know what? Guys like Elon, actually, this is the better tweet. Okay. Elon told Trump's base to, go whatever. Like, it was harsh language. And Vivek has doubled down on saying things about Americans' worth ethic. Now, here's the key point. It's disgusting, and you should never forget this episode. Okay? So, people got censored on Twitter, right? Then this episode was kind of like spun out of the news. Like the orange man got into a pickle, and they just took the news and buried it. Now, here's the deal. A lot of people who voted, in the recent election, they voted for what they did because they were tired of treatment of American citizens by both the current government and probably the largest corporations. Now, it's also become pretty obvious that a lot of these things that people were upset about are not going to change. Not at all. Now, what can you do about that? Well, crypto is, to me, is the obvious answer. Now, in the short term, there may be some disappointment in terms of like, well, if Elon could say the types of things that he just said and get away with it, it pretty much means that they don't care about the people that just voted them into office. So how do you make them happy? Well, here's the list. The Made in America cryptos. So if they can't change the labor laws, which they may or may not change, and for us, it really doesn't matter whether they do or don't. The fact of the matter is these guys have been painted into a corner. Like I can see Elon and Vivek getting on the tape and getting or being seen in person and getting booed after what's gone on. So the Made in America cryptos, this becomes a very, very important idea for them to, frankly, pump. And what's amazing is XRP, Cardano, Quant, Algorand, Stellar. These are, these ISO compliant coins for building infrastructure, right? I would imagine that these coins get another massive boost as soon as the orange man takes his hand off the Bible. And there was a lot of talk over the weekend about the strategic Bitcoin reserve not happening. Nobody knows how that's going to get done from a logistics point of view. Most likely it's the Bitcoin ETF, even if it happens. But at the end of the day, they have to goose crypto. They have to wave the American flag and they have to get crypto going, because the same people who are upset about this, like not only about these labor practices that are coming to light, which, it's not new that they're out there. It's just that they're getting exposed in detail. But what characters like Elon Musk and Vivek had to say about it. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to see you may see the orange man wearing an orange tie, and you may see Michael Saylor at the White House, because Michael Saylor doesn't want to do anything except moon Bitcoin and help the crypto industry. Whereas these other characters, they can't take back what they said. And in many ways, they're doubling down. So here's Eric Trump saying people who don't see crypto are people who will be left behind. So even though the crypto market is going down because of, I don't know, profit taking, disappointment, people wanted the Santa rally, people wanted 2021 up only, right? Nobody believes that they're actually going to follow through on the crypto promise. I would encourage you to think again, right? If the orange man wants crypto higher, it's going higher. Now, this thing with Elon, puts a dent in that idea a little bit, right? It's like, hey, we got you into the White House. We'll do what you told. But I don't know that the banks have enough clout to prevent a massive pivot towards crypto. In other words, the pivot towards crypto now has to be bigger, much bigger. And I don't think a pivot to crypto was priced into the market to begin with. It's like the disappointment trade is political. The economic trade pro crypto should be much larger than it is, but people aren't getting that. So it's funny, right? The political story got buried and everyone's selling crypto. Makes absolutely no sense. They're going to have to embrace crypto more than ever. It's going to have to be epic, because it's almost like they've got a one-issue presidency, because I don't know that anything else, foreign policy, labor policy, I mean, big tech and neocons funded the Trump crypto comeback along with Elon. So what do they got that's different? Crypto. Now, that's also convenient because they've also explained to you what you probably already knew, which is that at the end of the day, going to Mars is more important than you. That's it. They told you that, right? So if they told you that, what's the answer? The green button. Now, this also speaks to altcoins, right? Altcoins, to me, like when I saw all this and you look at this tweet where this guy was like, don't ever forget this. You know what? I want alternative everything. I want tech, social media, everything outside of the current system. Now, that's not being traded today, right? But it will get traded when people wake up and figure out that we need something different. Like, I knew we need something different, and I would say that on the show, and that was mainly theoretical analyst talk. But now it's real. And these guys, they're saying it on the tape, and frankly, it's easy because people want it, and now they have to goose it harder. They have to make sure they use crypto to bury this other story, because I would imagine the American right is not going to let that issue go. Matter of fact, we're finding like bigger tweets and bigger accounts like day after day after day, particularly after certain big accounts got shut off, right? So, okay, Michael Saylor, not going to stop. Not going to stop. Like I have, 27 billion Bitcoin at 62K, and I'm going to acquire another 2,000 Bitcoin at 97K. And he's just not going to stop, right? That's the key about this Saylor dot graph, right? He's just not going to stop. And this whole idea about him being a leveraged wild man and this somehow ending, that's not going to happen, right? So governments, corporations, BlackRock, and everybody else better hurry up on this. And when it comes to Ethereum, equity market players are going to look at ETH and they're going to say, well, ETH was an underperforming sector in crypto, and we're going to buy that. And that's very typical. Financial advisors, you do not have to be a genius to be a financial advisor. You go and say, okay, here's what outperformed. Let's sell some of that and let's buy what's underperformed. What's underperformed? ETH, 4,800 ETH, very realistic. Very realistic. But of course, they can't stop selling it this morning, and that's fine, right? You're just going to have to let them do that. You're going to have to move past the cringe of Vitalik adopting Mudang. You're going to have to move past that, right? Because Web3 is imminent, or Web4, or whatever you want to call it, right? We need something different. Hong Kong legislature proposes adding Bitcoin to national reserves for financial security. I'm so glad they showed a picture of Hong Kong. If this becomes a world crypto financial center, you have absolutely no idea the amount of money that's coming. No idea. Like the Chinese coming to crypto is not priced in. And if the U.S. government, all the U.S. government has to do is say, we're going to buy it, and that's going to trigger everyone else buying it. Like, this is easy. And I like the way this news article puts it. The virus is spreading. In other words, dollar has to go lower. The case for the dollar to go lower is more powerful now than ever. Right? In other words, why is labor from overseas so cheap in the U.S.? Well, because they can give somebody dollars and they go, oh, wow, the dollar, gets more powerful and more powerful and more powerful. Like the dollar versus the Indian rupee has been up only. I used to work with a video editor at another company, right? He was upset. He was upset the day that the company we worked for flipped the script on him. Instead of paying him in dollars, he was going to get paid in his home currency. He wanted the dollars because the dollar was like the super currency. Well, if the dollar starts moving lower, because the only way out of a debt crisis is to devalue the currency, right, then this labor market situation might eventually correct itself, right? But it's just so cheap, and it's just so amazing to me, right? Like, inflation gets out of control. Bureau of Labor Statistics makes up some numbers. The Fed has to panic tighten, driving up the dollar, making foreign labor cheap for Silicon Valley. And I just look at this and I'm like, you know what? Blank you. Wish I mean, we can't do this. We have to keep it clean, but really wish we could call the stream blank you. Watching the Fed, watching the labor costs, watching that there's nothing going to get done about it. Make the green button great again. the case for crypto, the case for you to create your own abundance, right? Like, meme coins are down a lot, right? Because they got distributed to retail. But whatever the next round of stuff created by these AI agents, you got to get on it. You got to get on it because it's a wealth generating engine. And if we don't generate our own wealth and we don't have privacy or we don't have networks that we can be on, or you don't have any type of decentralized AI, these characters are dictating to you now, and they own allegedly the maverick president. We got to do it ourselves. And we are going to do it ourselves because these morons are going to do what they did so many times in 2024, where they're going to sell, they're going to wrap some fake bearish narrative around the weak price action, and then you're going to turn around and it's going to be gone. And this is a possible catalyst. Okay, FTX is going to begin repaying customers. So FTX went bankrupt. They held on to your crypto. Crypto went up. You missed out on the gains, but that means all the money you put into FTX, you'll get out because crypto rose. Now, it's not clear if they're paying you in crypto here or they're paying you in dollars. I think if they're paying people in dollars, people who wanted to try FTX way back when, Ethereum is at the same price when they were trying FTX back in the day. So they may put money right back into the market. And Solana below 190, to me, visually, it's just starting to look stupid cheap to me. Solana should be at 400. So if they give everybody a bunch of money from FTX, the small customers are getting paid first, right? So it's $50,000 or less will begin receiving payments. Now, those people may have been hurt by inflation. They may have bills to pay, or they may say, this is my last chance to buy Bitcoin under 100. Okay, Russians' biggest banks are in. By the way, the Russians are also paying people to make babies. This is another issue that, this may be how Elon backtracks out of his nonsensical statements. The only way you're ever going to solve the social issues, which are also economic issues, about low birth rates, you either got to create jobs, which, I can't wait to see how they do that, given all these labor idiosyncrasies. People, they need crypto QE. They can't do QE in stocks. No one cares. Stocks are probably going lower, right? Because if they do cut government spending, you're going to have like recessionary forces, right? Also with the tariffs. So what is the good news in the world? It's crypto only. It's not up only. It's crypto only. Okay, so this is a graphic put together by Grayscale. Okay, market cap in billions, hyperliquid at 9 billion. Wow, that's impressive. Virtual is only at 2.4 or roughly 3 billion. Virtual's got resistance. We'll take a look at the chart. Okay, but I'm noticing Aerodrome. It's only, far down the list. It just seems weird. Aave at 4 billion. Aave's like a bank. You know what I'm saying? And then Sui at 12 billion. Okay, that's pretty impressive. But what's the next Sui? And will there be another Sui out of Asia? In other words, these AI agents or the next round of meme coins, Caspa, Tron, SEI. Right? In other words, no one's thinking like Sui was the next Solana. No one's looking for the next Sui. I actually think you should be. Okay. And, Abstract, this could be it as well, right? This is a layer 2, but this could be enormous. You guys know what I think about pudgy penguins. You know what the big boss is saying about things like Ski Dog. There's a lot of stuff out there that the market is currently absolutely sleeping on. I'm going to pull Ski Mask Dog up here on a 4-hour chart. This is a classic case of them making it difficult. Like they're making this hard on you. Like this was all easy and up only. And there's a lot of the market, a lot of the market looks like this. A lot of stuff that went up, right, has gone into this like awful range, particularly where it slumps at the bottom end. And they've run the stops in Ski Dog below these important lows. They've run the stops 3 times. Like they have made you believe in this. And if I'm reading this, this has 173,000 holders. Oh my God. Okay. Let the market find its new forms of money. And I have a feeling, memes may be slightly more intelligent than they were the first time around. Then again, they may repeat what they did on Solana and possibly do it on Sui and other chains, particularly if AI agents are involved. And this says nothing about what can go on Base, which is not being discussed at all. I don't see any. I see some people talking about virtuals, right? But I don't see anybody talking about what can go on Base and what that could mean for ETH. Nothing, right? And I also have seen research that you could have an ICO boom. Like, can you imagine, right? Can you imagine an ICO boom, right? Now, nobody remembers. Maybe people who are new don't remember ICOs, but, ICOs were essentially a period in 2018 where, thanks to the strength of Ethereum, every tech project, every whatever project could just start issuing coins to raise capital. I had an article yesterday, I can't find it, but venture capital spending, investing was down 63% year over year. Venture capitalists aren't investing in crypto. They're not. I mean, this year was basically memes, ETFs, and Bitcoin. And everyone else either got rugged or underperformed. Like I saw something where crypto lawyers, I think I have this article. Yeah, crypto lawyers actually did well with bankruptcies in crypto. Like this statistic is unbelievable. So crypto lawyers, just like in previous years, 2024 has been marked by crypto litigation and ongoing bankruptcies. Okay, it is not a bull market with law firms making money on bankruptcies. Now, I know that there's a lot of stuff still being sorted out. This is not a bull market yet. I mean, it's not the full bull market yet. And Brian has said this, right? ETF issuers won, right? Bitcoin hodlers, Michael Saylor, but who else? Right? I mean, who else? Losers, exploit victims, celebrities, Bitcoin paper hands or no coiners. Everyone left behind, everyone selling too early. All right, let's go to some live TA here. Okay, so who wrecked crypto? Well, everybody's bailing on like a perfect narrative. It feels perfect to me, but they're bailing. So here's Solana, right? Who did this? I don't know. Maybe they want to take it down to 180. Like literally, you're seeing capitulation. We expected a blow off top, and you're getting capitulation to the downside. Okay, Bitcoin on a 4-hour chart cannot break. They cannot break these moving averages. It's like some sort of machine is pushing it down. Because when things follow moving averages, I mean, machines understand moving averages. Every time you press either one of these DeMark quantitative averages, Bitcoin just gets smacked, right? It absolutely gets smacked, right? Ethereum was trying to do okay last night, and boom, right? Just like up here, right? It tries to do okay. It tries to do 4,000, boom. Now, how long are they going to do this? I don't know. I have to put XRP up here. because we're going to look at this on Lux Algo as well. The simple fact of the matter is, just like all the other times, people are giving up right as the narrative becomes unbelievable. Like the politics of crypto, if they don't do crypto, they bought themselves a crisis. They bought themselves a political crisis and a debt crisis. Right? The only way to avert that or distract people from that is crypto QE. But in the meantime, like XRP may be, like one day away from some kind of bottom. I like scooping up crypto when it's on sale like this, right? If you go to PowerPoint, right? And honestly, for people who have watched the stream, normally I can be on here for 45, like an hour and a half at a time. In some cases, in this case, you have politics and people giving up. That's what you have. Now, it's understandable if you want to question the crypto narrative, but if you really think about it, they don't have a choice. XRP is headed for the Lux Algo discount zone. In 2025, you're going to need to know where the premium zones are for coins that are trending like daily, weekly. And I think you're going to want to know where the discount zones are on things like 4-hour charts, because, everybody gets all excited. Then maybe it comes back to balance. And then if it doesn't hold balance, it goes to discount. That's XRP below $2. And I can't believe XRP would be below $2 for long. Like people's XRP targets, like Eagle King was telling me that January 6th is the anniversary of XRP hitting roughly $3 in 2018. So that was the high. That was the last time that, that was XRP's glorious entrance onto the scene. And you haven't seen anything since, minus the BitBoy pump back in 2021. There is a real case for XRP, Algorand, QNT, right? Possibly even Stellar, Cardano. In other words, what happens if Cardano is used as a way to bridge like normies to Bitcoin? Like what happens if Cardano or XRP is involved either as money or in terms of like creating a cross-chain universe? No one is talking about this. No one. Bitcoin already in the discount zone. The range gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Like, where are they going to sell this to? Like 91K, 90K, maybe the bottom of this like Lux Algo, like triangle formation. They're going to go for 89. You know what, boys, have at it. I mean, on one hand, the orange man is capitulating on certain make America great again ideas. Maybe he capitulates on Bitcoin. Maybe that's what everyone's doing. That's wrong. That is absolutely wrong. They are not going to capitulate on crypto. If anything, they have to embrace it massively. Solana. Okay, so you came to the apex of a triangle. You tried to break out, and it's not clear if it's going to hold. Okay, 188 is support. I'd like to think 188 holds. If it doesn't, it's 175, right? It's a false breakout, false bullish breakout. I will see, right? It's like, oh, okay. I'm going to be like, yeah, I hate Solana. It's going to 175. No, actually, Solana's going to 400. But, we can sit here and get tied up in this minutia, which is really the only thing to talk about. I get it. But we can't get caught up in it because everyone's going to hate it. Everyone's going to be depressed. Everybody missed the Santa rally, and they're just trying to push you out. And I brought up the political stuff because if we are not convicted, if we do not believe in Web3, if we do not believe in self-sovereignty, what do we believe in? And, oh, by the way, we all need to make money, whether you're like a hedge fund and you're a high net worth individual with a $10 million portfolio, you need returns on your portfolio. You need to beat other hedge funds. And if you're an individual, well, obviously the desire and the need to create wealth on what is going to be one of the biggest investing opportunities, I think, ever, because we haven't done anything yet. We haven't built anything yet, right? The AI agents are just getting started, right? So, art, social creation. That's what I'm calling meme coins, right? It's social creation. Social creation of what? Money, connectivity, community. Money, connectivity, community. Why am I long? Money, connectivity, community. There's Ski Dog pushing people out. Now, virtuals. Okay. Somebody was asking me, like, I've been looking at this, like, at 1 billion, I was like, it's too cheap. At 2 billion, I was like, it's too cheap. At 3 billion, it's probably still too cheap. But, you have a 5-wave top here. You're at a Lux Algo premium zone on a 4-hour chart. The last time you had one of these 5-wave tops, right? You did get somewhat of a correction. Maybe these things can chill out for a couple of days. Maybe you got some time to evaluate whether or not you want to get into this or you want to get into something else. Okay, I do think this is buying you a little bit of time because profit taking seems to be the order of the day. Now, the other thing I will tell you about year end before we check out who's here and see if there are any questions is normally at the end of the year, particularly since institutions are very involved in the market. Last couple days of the year is a perfect time to just walk away and be like, I'm done. Because institutions do things like window dressing, like they want to put certain things on their books that worked, okay, to show that they owned it. This things goes on in equities all the time. There can also be standard profit taking. There can be tax loss selling where stuff that gets down gets pounded on even more. So if everybody bought the top in Solana, then they may puke it out as a tax loss sell. Now, I don't want to get into the details of that. As a technical analyst, last couple days of the year, you just kind of walk away, right? You just kind of walk away. Okay. Jockey is still going to hold Chronos through 2025. It has insane staking rewards. Okay. Neff is here. Good morning. Right. Miguel. Okay. Rahib says, say the orange man. Yeah, man. The orange man with the orange tie with Michael Saylor at the inauguration. Okay. In other words, there are a bunch of people sitting around going, hey, what is the damage control on this? It's Michael Saylor. He's been trying to get to the White House for a while. He tried to go through Microsoft. He's trying to get anybody's attention. What should I buy for the new year? Okay, well, anything made in America. Okay, that's the first thing, honestly. Anything on base. Anything. Right, you can do the Brett memes. I'm sorry, you can do the base memes. Okay. Okay, here comes an answer to a question. Wow, look at this. I think this answers your question. 80% of Japanese banks set to adopt XRP by 2025. I mean, this is a good answer, right? Bitcoin, XRP, they're selling it like there's no tomorrow. I know this is not a sexy answer, but, if there's an Ethereum catch-up trade, it could be breathtaking. Solana, if the upside target is 400 at 180, it seems very economical to me. Now, I know these are not, I mean, there's other altcoins, there's things like Curve, right, in DeFi, and there's pretty much anything in real world assets. Like real world assets is not being discussed. It should be, right? And it's all down today, right? There's Ondo getting smacked like in the discount zone on a 4-hour chart at the bottom of a formation. Okay, this was a very big winner, Mantra Dow. I don't know that you want to run in and buy this right this second, but this was the big winner this year. Okay. Okay. And then there's all kinds of other RWA plays that aren't getting any love at all. Dusk. Okay. This is both privacy, and real world assets. You don't think BlackRock's going on chain? The Japanese banks are going to XRP. Okay. Goldfinch got stopped out in this. Boy, it's really hurt this year. We got hurt in this. But, if you start looking at Clearpool, right? These are all the real world asset plays. This is stuff no one's talking about, right? Like AI 16Z. Like I got made fun of for looking at that. Now it's this now it's a blue chip. First it was a joke. Now it's a blue chip. Okay. Clearpool, right? Checks. Okay. And again, this is not investment advice, but some of this stuff is getting absolutely pounded on today. If you look at 89-minute charts, I mean, some of this stuff is like down only into discount zones. And I don't know, there's no sign of people like stopping the selling. So this AI narrative, right, where, you can get involved with virtuals, right? I actually think, let me see it's their business model, their business model is a little bit, I don't know. It's a little bit unusual, but you can see, and this is not investment advice, but you can see what people will do when they get hold of something AI related. And again, I'm not recommending this, but these are like, I don't know, K-pop girls, influencers, your sort of adult entertainment online, perhaps Lush. Look at this move when they really want to do it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of this stuff out there. This 2 days ago was dead, right? You get these huge retracements in these AI agent coins. You get huge retracements in anything in crypto. You need to be on that. So the answer is, what am I looking at? Made in America, right? Let me just share this list again because somebody was asking about it. Somebody was asking me about it last night. A lot of this is boring. XRP, QNT, right? Algorand, QNT could have huge upside target. Okay. So, if you don't know what to do, start with what's down and start. Okay. Yes. The person was asking, will the Japanese banks help boost XRP prices? Yes, because XRP can become like a crypto payment network. Also, they may be signaling that the Japanese, the Bank of Japan, this is probably not in the article, but the Bank of Japan has done QE to such a point that's printing money, right? They print money and they buy assets. Okay. They have bought so many assets in Japan, the central bank, trying to prop their economy up. They bought so many Japanese stocks, so much Japanese equities, so much Japanese equities index ETFs. In other words, like they're buying the NASDAQ 100 like QQQ, but they bought it, the Japanese version. The Bank of Japan, last I heard, owns 10% of Japan's Walmart. In other words, they had to buy so many index ETFs that, as it turns out, the big stocks in the indices, by default, the Bank of Japan is a huge shareholder in multiple corporations. So what's the point for crypto? Well, what do you think is going to happen when the Bank of Japan starts buying crypto? When the Bank of Japan goes, oh my God, we can get our crypto bros off the video games, out of their parents' basement, and buying fancy watches and getting girlfriends and making Japanese babies, oh my God, they're going to do it. Like, I mean, why do you think the Japanese banks are interested in XRP? Like, the Japanese banks are interested, but the Japanese central bank isn't interested? Not to mention what's going to happen with the Swiss National Bank. They're a U.S. stock market hedge fund. I cannot wait for them to buy the Bitcoin ETF. That's 10% up in crypto that day. Okay, so that's the market update for today. I hope that was helpful. Friends, this is a good time to express my gratitude for your viewership. Happy holidays, and most of all, Happy New Year. If you're discouraged, don't be. Your discouragement today will be like unending joy if you figure out how to take advantage of these sprints higher in the market and then how to buy the dip on the corrections. That is the order of the day. We will see you next year.